Welcome back, gear shifters, for part 3 of my 50,000 mile service with Master Tech Keith over at Crossroads Harley Davidson. Right now we're going to be taking off the forks. They need to be rebuilt and then reassembled and reattached to my bike. So I wanted to be able to share that with you.
Part of what charges the motorcycle. Take your axle loose. Put a little bit of anti-seize on this one. Keeps you from your axle from piling up and seizing on there.
That's a good thing.
As time goes on, because you're going to have it off numerous times for tires and whatnot. You don't want to get seized and stuck.
And you just have the brakes covered just to protect them?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on, like some people put beads inside of their tires to balance it versus... I can tell from the look.
No. You just want to kind of measure your protrusion, fork stem protrusion, or actually fork tooth protrusion.
And when you talk about that, you're talking about how high it's off of this.
Yep.
So what is this metal piece called?
This top piece is called the upper fork clamp.
Okay. You're just measuring that because you can adjust that and make it higher or lower?
You can, but there is a factory specification for that. And you probably should stay within that.
I have a friend who raised her handlebars. She got a lift kit and didn't change anything related to the suspension.
Right. She changed only the handlebar.
Only the handlebar height.
Well, what it really does is it changes the rider's interaction with the motorcycle. So if you have really tall bars versus lower bars, you're going to have a situation where the taller bars have more of your body up here, and even if you do or don't have a fairing on it, it doesn't matter, it still affects. Wind catches more of your upper body, which can then input what happens up here with your hands and your upper body into these forks and then the bike.
Yeah.
So makes a big difference. That's a rider preference thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So here's the fork.
Take these and put them over here near our tools.
It's just, I mean, you can tell you've been doing this a while.
For a little while anyway. One of the coolest jobs in the world. Basically, you're gonna take these caps off and lift this up, and then you'll have to disassemble the top cap from the spring and strut or cartridge assembly in here. And once you do that, then you have to compress this cartridge assembly and disassemble the fork. There's quite a bit to it. Each side's just a little different.
The big old vise.
Yeah, you gotta have this.
Oh, I'm so excited to see what it looks like inside. And when you turn that, is it raising it?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
We're compressing the spring that's in here. That's what this tube actually does. I to use it to gain access to this nut.
Keith is just getting all of the fork oil out. Is that just to try to break the seal?
This is trying to get the dust cap off here. And we got a retaining clip that's in here. Needs to be dealt with.
Keith is getting it disassembled.
There's your cartridge I'm talking about.
And the fluid almost has like a metallic sort of look on it.
It does. You have metallic seals in the bottom of their forks, or metallic bushings, I should say. That's why this has changed. Those things wear a little bit, so you change them. This kind of copper or brass, and the other is a different one that's got a coating on it.
It sort of clamps on there.
Yeah, it just loosely goes on there. Sometimes they don't come off very easy because your hands are slick. Let's try doing it the other way. They're very hard to get off when your hands are slick. You can see the inside of it there. That's why you have some metallic particles in there. That's the coating on the outside.
So when people do different types of suspensions on the front, is it that it differs in the width of this, or what parts are actually different?
The internals, probably these spring and cartridge is probably what's going to be different.
Getting it all nice and clean.
Yeah. What makes it work better is the fact you've got a cartridge fork assembly in this. It gives it a smoother, more predictable ride. That's the part that really helps this. Not all bikes have that.
These are the new replacement parts. And you call that a dust cover? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, this one's just a dust cover. Using this little bit of tape is protecting this seal. When you slide it over, you don't want it to get cut on anything. So it's just basically seal protection while you assemble this.
And the oil's orange. Or is
Yeah.
it red?
Yeah, it's kind of reddish color. This moves when the spring is attached in here. The spring works against this, and this dampens the force, some of the force. It's the cartridge. That's extra performance for this fork.
And does it just have a spot on the bottom where it kind of seats into, so you don't have to worry about it?
It does. You kind of got to play with it a little bit.
Is that just a lubricant?
This is a little bit of sealer that goes on this. This seals the bottom of the forks. It has a washer that does this too, but this is just a little bit of extra protection to keep there from being a leak.
What happens if your forks fail? Like if there's some sort of leak and something gets in there?
I mean, it's just dirt and contaminants, and it won't really, it will, obviously, it's going to throw oil everywhere, but it's not going to be a problem that's going to cause you immediate concern for, you know, something that you have to stop right then and there. You can ride on with it like that for a while. Some people will wrap bandanas around them and let it soak up the oil. Been done before. It works. And when you are able to get where you need to go, then deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not anything that's going to keep you from moving on if you're riding.
So when do you use a torque wrench versus not using a torque wrench? And obviously this needs to be exact.
Some people use torque wrenches on every single piece they touch. If you've done it for long enough, you get a feel for what you're doing. My answer is you're supposed to use them on everything. You have a screw in the bottom of your fork that retains that. Retains your cartridge.
Yep, I can see it. Reassemble it.
Yeah, this is part of your reassembly. You have a retaining ring that goes in that snaps into place and retains your seal. Making sure it's all the way in.
Does it have a little lip in there that it slides into?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that just kind of helps it seat out against that. All right. This is your seal installer.
Yeah.
This is what you use to install your seal and push your dust cap back into place. I'm just looking to make sure that this is going back on the way it came apart. That's what you want. It's a nice smooth move. This is what's called the upper slider.
Okay.
And this is the actual fork tube that goes up into the slider. Since this is inverted, the top side's the slider.
And that's the cap.
Yeah, this is the cap.
So a new O-ring on the cap.
What's called a pro gauge. So you set your oil level to a height, 106 millimeters. You add oil, then you add over the amount, then you extract the excess and you have the correct amount of oil. Using Type E fork oil. So sometimes when these things are produced, the guy that does the left or right sides does type E, and another one will do a clear type of oil. So sometimes you could have two different oils in there. You never really know. Now we're getting the air out of your cartridge. We're getting fresh oil in that cartridge. We just remove the excess oil that was in that fork. And we'll check it one more time. Make sure it's got the correct level. You can kind of tell by the sound there, we've gotten all the oil that we need. So you can see where your oil level is.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now comes the hard part. This one might work a little better for me. Now I'm reaching for the tube or the end of the rod that's down there. Nice. There we go.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're making sure nothing leaks, make sure it's compressing, doing what it's supposed to. Or they both. The biggest reason they probably do not do cartridge in both sides is expense. One of these will do the job. It's probably a 70% gain in handling using one cartridge. Well, if you use two, maybe there's only 10% difference. Okay. Here's our top out spacer. I'm going to pull that out. And we have a special tool that goes in the top of here to relieve pressure on this nut. Just clamp this down. Really is all you're doing.
We're here for your service.
That's all
Thank
it
you.
is.
She's shifting gears.
There's fork oil left in this, so black dust bunnies. Same process as the last time.
So as you'll see over this time-lapse video, Keith just continues to work on the other fork, breaking it down, draining out the oil, removing all of the old parts, all the old bushings and clamps.
These are bushings.
Bushings.
Yeah, these are bushings. That's why you get a little bit of metallic or black in this oil. This is why they would like for you to rebuild this at 50,000 miles. So not only do you get a fresh seal, but you get brand new bushings that don't have any great amount of wear.
Nice.
So that's why you're doing it.
I really appreciated Keith allowing me to ride along during this 50,000 mile service. I learned a lot about my motorcycle and really was impressed with how much of a job this fork rebuilding process is. It was not easy. I was able to cut down the video to less than a half an hour, but this was a solid 4-hour job rebuilding and replacing the forks.
Much better. Much better.
Nice.
All right. This is anti-seize. I want to make sure that we don't have any problems threading this together. Should be. Sometimes that changes a little bit when you tighten all these down. I can double check them. All right. Bearings feel good there. They should rotate nice and smoothly. If they have any binding to them, you should replace them. There isn't an actual interval to replace them. It's just whenever they need to be, you check them at every tire change. Need it, do it.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe and ring the bell, and you'll be notified anytime I release new videos. My name's Jordan, and I believe in gear shifting gratitude, and I'm here to share it with you.